No,
listening
I
to
saw it on my
Daddio.
end.
Oh, I
This-
didn't. Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Daddio. I'm Glenn Tickle. I was already talking with a guest about how tired I am. I'm here with my co-host Ricky Glore.
Hey,
Our guest this week, Jim Tews,
Jim
stand-up comedian.
Tews.
His, I was gonna say new special. Is this your first special that you put out? Like
This is
the
my
first
first
hour?
special.
With
Yeah,
pictures is available now on YouTube, and it's great. I like it a lot. Everyone,
Fantastic.
welcome.
It's
Jim
also
Tews.
part of.
Thank you.
It's also part of Jim Tews's store to pay $10. Don't just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, there is a Shopify link if you want to.
Yeah.
Contribute.
I mean, I didn't. I found it for free. And
Yeah, no, I definitely watched the free version on YouTube.
I'm really fine with either one. I just
Does the Shopify cut? Is there like additional material?
No. It's just. Do you want to be nice?
Yeah, because I
Do
did
you
that
want to
with,
be nice?
I did that with the special I put up on YouTube, World Crime League. When I put the CD out, I was like, oh, people aren't going to buy this if I don't put stuff that I cut out back on.
So
Yeah.
you could have just stopped that sentence at.
Yeah,
People
no one's
aren't
going to buy
this.
Yeah. No one seems to care. Like when I'm like, oh yeah, there's like 2 or 3 jokes that I cut out of the free version. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, I had like 2 segments that kind of got cut from the special.
Yeah.
And I thought I've been trying to figure out what to do with them, and now I'm like, I don't know. I think I might just pop the one long one up on YouTube pretty soon, but we'll see.
Oh,
yeah,
you filmed it. You filmed it, but you cut it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. What was the big decision? Was it pace? Was it material? Did it feel like it just didn't pop, or it didn't connect narratively with everything else?
It like narratively, it definitely connected, and it was like people in the room were on board, but it was one of those things where I'm like, it started to like kind of drag a little bit, and I'm like, this isn't. I'm hitting the like. I was like, if I'm around 40 minutes plus, that's good for me.
Yeah,
I forget what the full runtime of it is, but with that other bit, it was like closer to an hour with that and a couple other things.
48 minutes and 2 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm like, there's no reason. Like this is like 55 at the cost of like maybe somebody turning it off at that point. Then
interesting.
Yeah, I think
then
now especially because like retention rate is a big factor in like social media algorithms. Like the more people are watching longer, it'll show it to more people. So I think that's why you're seeing a lot more stuff like, I mean, Dry Bar or Don't Tell putting out like 15-20 minute ish sets from people rather than a full hour.
Yeah, it makes sense. I can, you can see on YouTube your analytics, like average watch time. I think I'm around 13-14 minutes, which I'm like, that's great. I wish I would have thought of that when I was like putting the set together, baby. And not, I think my opening bit's like 8 minutes long, and I'm like, I probably could.
But it's a good get to know you bit. I feel like you
that's
condense.
what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for confirming.
I think you thank you for telling another middle-aged white man with glasses that what you're doing's right, buddy. Keep doing it. No, the opening I thought was a good kind of Cliff Notes condensed version, without it feeling. One of my least favorite things in stand-up are people using here's to get to know me a little bit. Like, hi, I'm blah blah blah, and you might be looking at me thinking, whoa, there's blah, blah, blah meets a blah, blah, blah. Like, I fucking hate that. I cannot.
Yeah, where it's kind of like served.
Yes.
Like,
and I think you did it well inside of a bit while also kind of setting up the parameters of the rest of the night. You get a lot of, I mean, I'd imagine you probably had some advantage of who was in the audience there for you when you recorded this special. But you do get some light titters of just people being like, all right, we're getting to know this guy. And I big kudos to when Glenn told me the crux of the special, which was with pictures and that you had this kind of slideshow thing. I was thinking immediately of like Demetri Martin with an easel. And when I saw before the pictures started and it was just the applause symbol on the screen because it was black on black and the background you use on the screen is black. I thought that was superimposed applause hands over the edit of the
Oh,
special, not on the screen. So then when you go more into the babies bit, which average baby is my
oh.
favorite joke of yours. Just the idea of like, well, in what lab were they trying to figure out who was the average baby? How far did they drop them from the chin-up bar?
Yeah.
That whole section, I was just like, oh, I know who this guy. Like, this is the comedian. This is who he is, and this I really like the everything the way you presented it. It was clean and it was seamless the way that you've worked in the drawings. How long did it take you to realize, and is that something you're going to continue on doing in your comedy?
Um, yeah, thank you, first of all. There was, like, stuff that I worked that I was, like, wanted it to be, like, kinda seamless,
Hmm.
like, not, like, so in your face, like, this or, like, people get, like, spooked by seeing a PowerPoint kinda thing. Um,
It's a little bit of that same thing of like if you brought an acoustic guitar up on stage.
right,
It's
right.
like this can be really good, this can be mediocre, or you can blow me away.
Yeah. So like I started that the first time I did anything like that was March of, like, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe? Um, I forget the date, but I was doing Hilarities in Cleveland. I was, like, going back to visit. I play every every St. Patrick's Day, I play with, a group of comedians and musicians in Cleveland in an Irish folk band called the Stepdads of Galway, and we play, the one guy's, like, brunch party that he has that just runs all day at his house, and then we, like, get in the van and drive 5 minutes to this venue, and then we play a show at night. So I go back on St. Patrick's Day every year to do that, and I coincide it with a night at Hilarities, which is, like, my home club, and they have a nice screen set up, and I was like, "You know what? I've been itching to, like, try something different," and I draw and animate, and I'm like, "There needs to be, like there's gotta be a way to put these things together." So I just went through what my headlining set was going to be,
Hmm.
with the, like, stuff I had been working on, and I was like, "What's the visual here?" And I just literally at the airport on my iPad started with a couple bits, you know, drawing out the beats, in that style that I used in the special 'cause it was so simple. And then I tried it, and it, like it worked just enough to
Hmm.
get me to, like, keep doing it and, sharpen it a little bit. I definitely wanna keep that up because now, like now I know what works and what makes the visual parts pop and what doesn't, and it's like I know where to go to find places with screens. I also,
Hmm.
like it
It
just
also helps because then if that's your signature, Glenn and I have talked about this idea of being a little bit more particular about the venues that you play at, and I feel like if you are specifically you're like, this is my signature, this is who I am, I require this amount of tech, then what's great about that is it kind of exercises some of those maybe bar-esque or places that shouldn't necessarily be putting on a show,
yeah, yeah.
because you require an X level amount of tech.
Right. And yeah, that it definitely, like, stepped the venues up. The hard part was, like, going through, like, my list of places that would have me headline. I'm like,
Hmm.
"Well, that's out, that's out, that's out." Um, but the other thing is my rule has been, like, the joke has to work without the pictures,
Hmm.
and if it doesn't, then I can't add the pictures with
Interesting.
some exception. There's some where the pictures just absolutely required. Um, but it's kind of how I try to do it because also, like, running around New York, I'm just doing a bunch of little bar shows most of the time and some clubs. I'm not going to ask to set up a projector, with some exception. I'm not going to ask to set up a projector or, like, do a tech rig for
A 3-minute set, a 2-minute set.
Yeah. I usually like, there's certain places like when I do like Union Hall, I know they have it set up. I know they're not going to freak out if I go, here's a thumb drive or a link, or Union Hall will just let you bring a laptop to the stage and plug in. There's a couple places like that, but for the most part, I mean, like last night I was just standing up against a wall in a bar with people like 4 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
There's no way to, like, I'm not going to bring an iPad up and
get perspective on this.
Yeah.
On
I
this
do
image.
think it's a bad look when you roll up to a venue that's really not built for that. And then you're like, oh, look, I need like 10 minutes before the show to, be a problem and set up all this stuff. It's like if you roll up with an acoustic guitar, right, and you're just playing some songs in your set, I think nobody's gonna. I mean, people don't like guitar comics, but no one. It's not a problem. But if you're like, oh, I need to plug in and like I need to do a sound check.
Yeah, when I'd roll up with the ukulele, different places would be like, we could. If you'd have told us, we could have plugged you in. I'm like, oh no, I don't want any of that.
Yeah,
like,
I have a bit with a violin, and it's like, this is an instrument that's been designed over hundreds of years to be able to make a loud sound. Like, we'll be fine.
The better they can hear me, the worse I am going to sound. Yeah. So let's just have it go through the microphone.
Because I did it at the Bell House once, and they're like, I did get a violin with a pickup in case I needed to plug in anywhere, because I was doing it at like college gigs and stuff. And it's like, well, sometimes I am in like a bigger space, so but I'm not a musician, so when the sound guy at the Bell House is like, do you need a DI? And I was like, hey, I don't know what that is. And he's like, the plug.
I do.
You need to plug in your violin.
You got one? You got one handy?
Yeah. He's like, do you have one? I was like, I didn't bring one. And he's like, it's fine. And
that's sus extra.
That's a roadie thing.
Yeah. So
some roadies come up with fake things where they will ask bands of things that don't exist just to test how big of pieces of shits bands are coming through certain areas. Hey, Glenn, are you and I both holding a Sharpie that doesn't make a clicky noise because we need something in our hand and we don't want to make noise while we're twirling it?
Yeah, dog.
We are the same.
This is what I usually fidget with. This is a pickup selector for an electric guitar.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And it was
perfect.
Broken.
What we're talking about. Is that a DI?
Yeah. Do you guys don't know what this is?
Oh no.
I want to be clear. I was very upfront with the guys. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, like musically. The comedy of this bit I've got down pretty well, but
and I've excused that this is comedy to make it fit in the permutations of this is. What I
want to see the violin bit now. I'm really curious.
Oh, it's so good.
It's one of the things where it's like it's really fun, but it is elaborate. And like, there's a video that plays because I play Eternal Flame by the Bengals, and I make the audience sing along to drown out my bad violin playing.
Okay.
And the last time you did this, Susanna Huff was probably there.
Yeah, well, I did a Hodgman show at the Bell House years ago, and he's like, well, Susanna Hoff lives in Brooklyn now. And he's like, I know her. I invited her to the show. And I was like, I can't tell if you're kidding, but don't ever tell me if you're like, don't tell
me if that's true. But she did follow Glenn the next day on Twitter.
Then a couple weeks later, she followed me on Twitter. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Hodgman.
He's continuing the long con.
He's never admitted whether she was there. I believe that he invited her. Like that. Yeah, that all tracks.
I'm sure he did if he said he was going to.
Yeah, but there was also a tech problem because I gave them the wrong video. I edited the song down. I just got like the karaoke version.
Why would you edit down that 3.5-minute song for your stand-up performance with a violin?
To keep it pithy, And so it was just like the one verse and the chorus, and then I was going to be done. But I accidentally gave him the full thing. And I realized it, and I was like, oh, it's the wrong one. Sorry, you can cut it. And he'd walked away from the board.
No.
But then that seems like a bit. Yeah.
But then I stopped, but everyone kept singing along. And then he cut the sound, but the video was still playing. So they kept singing. And then he turned off the projector, and everyone kept singing the rest of Eternal Flame. And I was only supposed to do like 10 minutes or whatever, and it ended up going long. But I'm like, you can't, that's not my fault. I mean, it is because I brought the wrong video, but the audience wouldn't stop singing Eternal Flame.
But also and also after the fact, like if you videotaped or audioed that, like did that sound person actually assist you in creating what the peaks and valleys are of that bit by just taking
Maybe.
one
I mean,
piece
I'm not
out.
gonna
Like,
Yeah,
try
it
to
sounds like
replicate
more of a roller coaster
the
ride.
wrong video.
yeah, I dig it.
But I mean, like you were talking about with the projector and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's not impossible to roll up with a violin and a video file on a thumb drive, but it makes it harder. Like, what appeals to me largely about stand up is how easy it is in terms of just production. Like,
For sure.
I'm just standing there. If I show up for a sound check, it's like, okay, I mean, it's literally just I will say the opening to the A team into the microphone and then I'll leave. I'm not plugging in. We're not mixing levels between instruments.
Right.
Or
I like
if you work with band, I mean, you've played in bands, like you said,
Uh-huh.
I the Weezer cover band that you did, where it's like, yeah, I'm sure that's a very different experience rolling up with 3 people with multiple instruments versus just walking into a club with like maybe a little bag of merch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the sound check and stuff going from like playing with a band to doing stand up. It's just such a dream.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'll open for Todd Barry once in a while, and he likes to get to the venue early to do sound check
Mm-hmm.
and well tech check because he'll usually have like a playlist and like he has like a screen that he puts up in the back with just like a logo and stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll do sound check, and it's always kind of funny because it lasts like a minute and a half, and Todd never gets louder. So it's like there's nothing to even check, and then they'll go like, "Hey, do you want to get up there and make sure it's all right?" And I'm like, "No, Todd and I are like the same volume."
Yeah.
So
We're
literally we
speaking
don't.
roughly the same tone. It'll be all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally like Todd will go up there 3 minutes, say a couple things, and then that's it. Versus like, yeah, running in with like a band and plugging in all your pedals and then be like, "Where's that buzz coming from? Who's buzzing?" And
doing
It's in
like
my head.
APCA and NACA will have you sound check where you're on a showcase. It's probably like 2 comedians, 3 bands, a juggler, like all kinds of different acts, and they do the sound checks based on time slot. So you show up, and they're always like, "All right, comics, you guys are going first," because they know it's like it's going to be a 2-minute thing. You get the comics in and out the door. It's like just the mic's going to be there, just talking to it for a little bit. All right, you sound great, and then you're done. But then the bands are obviously more complicated. Magician's also weirdly complicated tech because there's so much going on that people don't realize.
Yeah.
They've got like secret foot switches and stuff plugged into like the underside of tables.
Don't blow it for me, Glenn.
Quit sharing the magic.
I don't want to know.
I've worked with friends of mine played in an act called the Danger Circus, where it was a juggler, a magician, and a guy who does sideshow acts. And the end of the show, they just have so much stuff to pack up. It's the Patton Oswalt bit about like the disgruntled magician who's just like angrily performing, but then having to pack everything up at the end of the night. Is that? But it's like, yeah, well, I better roll up my carpet full of broken glass that I was jumping up and down on and get that all back in the bucket.
Yeah.
And
like, when I was a magician, I would only do tricks where things would disappear. So the cleanup factor is amazing.
You're better.
You do a lot of shopping before.
You say I'm better than this? Yeah. You see that every time I make a bad joke, you say I'm better than this. I need you to realize that no, this is the top of my level. Speaking of the top of your level, saying about you can only add artwork to a joke as long as the joke works without it. So you're kind of giving yourself a tag. The first connective one that I picked up on was how you broke down the number of things or the horde of things, again with the babies, and then you do it with the dogs. So you do have this kind of visual callback that I'll say me, I won't slide the whole audience with this. I didn't get the connection of the horde or the 80 dogs.
Yeah, 81.
81, yeah. Which I love. 80 or 81. Yeah, I love 81. 81 Babies Unite. And then later with the amount of dogs, I was just like, oh, we just got the same visual pattern for the dogs that we did the babies. this is fun. Like, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm liking everything about this. Did you, now mentioning opening for Todd Barry, is your persona on stage, is it a curated one to go with the art, like the way you do your hair, the outfit you wear? Is that just what you're comfortable with? Or is it because you fit into this like Todd Barry semi, what would be considered back in the 90s, like alt comedy? Is it a very specific look to go with your style of comedy that you've grown into, or is that naturally you?
It's I don't I as far as like that stuff goes, I have no the closest I've come to like doing any sort of like visual like cohesiveness or brand
Yeah.
is the style of the artwork and things. But like as far as like how I dress or persona wise, that's all as close to what you would get if you know, when you're talking to me now. And like even like I kind of had this moment. And I think this was like a thing that changed for me from the pandemic, because before the pandemic, I was like to no one's awareness. Like it never benefited me, but I was like, oh, what am I wearing tonight? Like I was like, shopping for clothes on
As we're finding our
purpose.
voices, I'm perpetually trying to find my voice, and I think one day, the magical thinking of like, well, one day I'll put on the right outfit,
Right,
and that
yeah.
will be
And
the
you're like,
voice.
no, that has nothing to do with anything.
No.
And then it's like, um during the pandemic, when it was all kind of like when everyone looks weird, nothing's happening, like wear what you want, do what you want. And then also like I started like painting on sneakers and dyeing my pants and like doing stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this is more fun to play with. It's not something that's probably going to carry on to
Hmm.
stage for me, but the indifference of like, what am I wearing and how does it compare to what's happening around me? I just don't care as much. I'll like, I try to look nice, like presentable, but like the outfit I wore
I
for this,
try to look nice,
yeah,
as if your mom was just like, "Hey, I saw your last special, and like, it looks like you tried."
yeah. I like the out, I thought, oh, should I like go shopping for something to wear for this taping? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna like go into my closet and have my wife
I'm
be
gonna put
like,
on new
help
clothes that
me.
I don't feel comfortable in.
Right. That's the thing that I didn't realize I was doing to myself over and over again.
Yeah.
It's like just put on an outfit that you've worn before.
Yeah.
The one that works best for this situation. I
But then you can't blame the outfit on if it doesn't go as well as you wanted to, as it did in your head.
That's true.
Because if you do a new outfit, you'd be like, I think it was the outfit.
Yeah,
I don't
shouldn't
think
have
it was anything
changed.
about my
If I
artistry.
know I'm filming something, I will put a lot of thought into the outfit. For Crime League, it was mostly I was trying to match one of Buckaroo Banzai's suit jackets,
Oh,
um, which again was a thing. I'm like, well, no one's gonna care. No one. I'm the
right.
Did you
only one
did you tell your new
thinking,
friend Rick that
yeah.
that's
Oh, he
what you did?
knows. Yeah, I got to have lunch with W.D. Richter and talk about how much I love his movie. And yeah, stuff like that. It's like I'm the only one who gives a shit about whether or not this jacket closely resembles the one that Buckaroo wears in the scene where
Right.
he meets Penny. But it's like, well, I'll try to find one. But now it travels well. Like it does. I can put
Oh,
it in a suitcase and it doesn't get wrinkled. So it's like, yeah, that's usually what I'm wearing on the road now. It's like,
right.
That's the kind of jacket I want all times.
yeah.
I had I
But it's
had
not
a
like, oh, this is going to be my brand going forward. It's just like, I don't know. A lot of the shows that I'm doing, I should have a suit on for this. So let me bring one that isn't going to look
right.
like shit if it's been sitting in a carry on all day.
I have like a chore coat that I was using a lot for a lot of
Hmm.
shows, because I mean I liked it, but also it had these pockets in the front and I use that clicker,
Yeah.
and I don't like to make the clicker so like present. I don't like
Hmm.
people seeing it that much, so it's
You don't
kind
do
of,
the TED Talk thing of just
yeah,
having
like
it out.
I don't want to be like So I liked having somewhere to hide my hand, and then the picture changes, and the audience doesn't see the act of the picture
You got to
changing.
get a toe switch that magicians use.
Yeah, I've seen
or a foot pedal for guitarists.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
looked into the foot pedal thing. I've also seen on Amazon like rings that just
Yeah.
have like
Oh,
2 or 3 buttons,
Mhm.
yeah.
and I was like, I thought that would be cool. But then,
Or go the other way. Get a big fucking button that is
like a
impractical.
Staples easy
Yeah,
button.
you're just like, good, yeah.
Yeah,
Next picture.
yeah.
The one from Press Your Luck. Just
Or go, yeah.
Yeah.
I need a hand sensor.
Yeah. No whammy, no whammy.
Or it looks like I swipe. Maybe that would work. But yeah, the chore coat that I've been wearing like on the tour and like prepping for it. It's like a blue, like a pretty bright blue,
Mhm.
and that doesn't look right against like a very stark black background. So I was
Mhm.
like, well, I can't wear that for the special. So
No,
yeah,
I mean,
color was a
immediately
consideration, but
before even hearing you say about opening for Todd Barry, I was just like, oh, I'm visually, before even knowing any of your humor, I was just like, who do I think this is, like the humor that's going to come out of his mouth? I'm like, I'm going to bet Jonathan Katz. And then, or like, so started watching, I was just like, yes, this is the kind of comic that I'm going to sit back. I feel completely comfortable with whatever presentation of comedy that you're going to give me, because it is literally about, for me, watching you was focusing in on you and where your mind is going to take us. And I think, like I said, that beginning 8 minutes, I thought you did a really great job. It's what I love about Glenn is I get who you all are like right off the bat. And I'm just like, yep, take care of me. Like, what journey are we going to go through?
How dare you say
yeah.
nice things?
How dare you be complimentary?
Yeah, Glenn got so uncomfortable. Come on, Glenn.
Always
Accept it.
No, thank you, friend. I don't know. I mean, I've made the joke recently to people because when I started out, I was just trying to think of like, well, what do people think is funny? And then around when my daughter was born and I started doing jokes about that, it's like, oh yeah, no, you've always kind of looked like a dad. You look like you're late to pick somebody up from soccer practice. Like this is the kind of that all the stuff about my kids has always worked better. And I think it is that thing of like, no, I mean, I look like that's what I should be talking about.
You grew into your comedy.
If I don't come across as the kind of guy who goes up and tells like insane stories about how he's doing like coke at 4 a.m. Everyone would be like, I thought of one joke about drinking and it's like, oh, I think it's really funny, but I don't think it doesn't fit in with anything that I said. So I texted it to Tyler Rothrock and I was like, if you want this joke, you can have it, but I'm never going to do it. And I don't know if he ever used it, but it was like, oh, I don't remember the last time that I drank alcohol, but I know it was yesterday. And it's like, oh, to me, that's a clever little joke, but it's like, I don't look like I got blackout drunk yesterday. I mean, I might now that I'm mid 40s. I think we just look like that all the time now. But
your hair is too well coiffed.
Yeah, for, at 9 a.m.
Yeah,
I'm looking. The problem is I look too sexy. Like that's what it is.
Yeah,
everyone's like, you're too hot.
Too. It's too distracting.
Yeah,
I get up there, people are like, he's had it easy enough.
I did do a show recently.
You have to win them over immediately.
Yeah. With some, I won't say which one, but I was on a lineup recently with some very attractive people, and I was like, it's kind of distracting. Like how
every time I see a new cast member announced now for SNL, I'm just like, is this a beauty contest? Like, sweet Jesus, these people are good looking. Give me some chodes.
I mean, come do comedy in New York. And like, it's kind of funny because I've joked about this before, but like when I got to New York, there was like a ton of really gross looking people.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone. Some people smelled bad. It was like they were all funny, but it was like a real mixed bag. And now everyone's like 22 and they're like glowing and they've showered and nobody's drunk. And I'm like, man, things have changed.
And they're wearing clothes that like make them feel comfortable, like give them positive body images, and
or they're like clearly aware of what they're wearing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I put this outfit together, and you're like, man,
I
this
chose
this is
this.
a different game than it
Yeah.
was.
When
I
did you
don't know if
when
it's
did you
better
get
or
to
worse, but
when did you get to New York, Jim?
I think it's 2010, 2011.
Okay, so well
2011.
before the pandemic. And so when
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
start doing stand up?
I started doing stand up in Cleveland in 2003.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
right before I got out of the Coast Guard, started.
Give us more of this backstory out of the Coast Guard.
I joined the Coast Guard right out of high school, and because just for some, I wasn't a good student, so it was like, all right, well, let me do something that feels like worth my time, since I'm not going to go to college on somebody else's dime. And then did the Coast Guard thing so I could get the GI Bill and all that, and ended up stationed. I was on a ship for a while, and then I got stationed in Cleveland, and had an office job and was like pretty miserable.
Mhm.
And Insomniac was like a popular show, and I became obsessed with stand up, and I was like, I'm gonna try this, and then found an open mic like a couple
So your
months before I got out.
influences, I'm not completely off base when
No.
I judged you immediately, and I was just like,
No.
oh, alt comic of the 90s. Like if there was a time machine, like
or
okay.
even like, I mean, like, it started with like the Dave Attell stuff, and then that kind of walked me into the Patton Oswalt, Maria Bamford,
Mhm.
Brian, the comedians of comedy stuff, Comedy Death Ray, all that stuff was like a huge.
Basically anybody that did Luna Lounge.
Yeah.
Like kind of that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wait,
then
did it take you like I would again just let's call this just judging a book by its cover. I would have never guessed you were in the Coast Guard and did poorly in school. Like I would have been like, oh, this guy, like you again, just to throw you and Glenn on it, right off the bat, you're like, oh, these guys are smart. They know what they're talking about. Let's listen. Let's hear what.
Yeah.
Is it? You think so? Do you think me not wearing glasses on stage is the issue? They fall off my face while I'm performing. So
it's
not flailing around so much.
it's true.
I don't know, like what. Yeah, I think it's not that I was stupid. I was just an ADD kid, just not good in school.
Yeah.
And
welcome to the Daddio podcast.
And the Coast Guard thing, I've definitely heard that a lot, but it's also like the Coast Guard. I mean, now they've kind of changed their image a little bit under this new administration.
Why? What happened?
Yeah. But
what made you decide Coast Guard? Because you are talking. So when did you join the Coast Guard? 2003?
99.
Oh, 90.
When
So
I
right
graduated,
before
yeah,
9/11. Oh, so
Yeah.
you and my brother Eric are the same age, class of 99. What made you choose Coast Guard over all other lines of military?
I had family that was like Marines, Air Force, Navy. I didn't want to go on a ship for forever and be on some like giant ship. I didn't want to I had no like combat fantasies.
Good.
Yeah, the Air Force didn't appeal to me. I had a great uncle who was in the Coast Guard, and he was like really funny, and it sounded kind of interesting. Then I talked to a couple people about.
Do you feel akin to that uncle? Are you like,
I mean, he's long gone. I didn't know him that well. It was just like, this is the only person in my family who I know was in the Coast Guard. But I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's a landlocked area. I had to go out of my way to explore what the Coast Guard was, but they had more of a humanitarian mission. And I was like, you know what? It's all the same. I'm going to join this branch. And I definitely am glad that that's what I picked. But yeah, it got especially when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
Because my friends that joined the other branches, they had a different path after that.
Yeah,
it still got weird for me, and they like sent somebody from my unit to Bahrain. I actually volunteered to go, and they were like, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
Your little slides aren't going to help over there.
Yeah. You're having too good of a time here. Because
Cleveland.
also
People perceive you as being smarter than you might exude, so we're going to keep you.
You have to stay in the Coast Guard and protect us from the mermen.
yeah. Well, it was an administrative job, which again, just like school, I was not great at.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm like 19,
Sure.
like 19 years old handling paperwork and payroll for grown ass adults. It wasn't a
That
good
is
scene.
awesome.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I do not excel at.
That's why you then moved into comedy. But did you? So you served your time in the
Yeah.
Coast Guard,
Uh-huh.
and then you moved to New York. You said 2010.
Yeah.
What was the comedy scene like when you got to New York? The different, like, because
Well,
my understanding of New York and the comedy scene really kind of ends around the late 90s, early 2000s. And then like the 2010s, New York, is it exploding? I know you mentioned there were more of the typical gross comedians that you
People were
think of.
smellier.
yeah.
Yeah.
I won't name any names, but yeah, like I had spent a good 10 years in Cleveland total. And like I think 8 of that doing stand up. So I'd come from that small energy, and like I'd been to New York to visit, I've been to Boston, I've been to Chicago, like, seen the bigger city scenes. But then by the time I got to New York, it was kind of weird because I was already like 30, which is not old, but in, New York comedy, it's like you're up there
Yeah.
when you get it's not a great age to arrive at.
Well, it's hard because you got to pay your dues.
Yeah,
And when
yeah,
you
no
are
matter
that
who.
age, yeah, no matter how old you are, so you somewhat paid your dues or did your time or got experience in a smaller market or elsewhere. But then you are coming into New York, and were you married already or did you meet your.
No, I met
Okay.
my wife doing comedy in New York. So I was like, I worked during the day at Viacom, um, and then just did stand up at night. And I'm trying to think of like, it's hard to get like a real picture of what the scene was like relative to other stuff, but it was like I was kind of on the tail end of like, all those like Chicago people like Hannibal Buress,
Hmm.
who were kind of like making, a name for themselves there. I was like behind that group.
That class.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, because that's around when I started, and I was going into the city to do open mics and stuff. But I started in 2009, so it probably would have been a couple months before I would have tried to go in and do shows in the city. But
yeah.
it was the appeal of it was like, well, yeah, you can go do 5 shows in a night
Hmm.
because like I live in Jersey, but there's nothing where I am. So that's why when I started, I had to go to like Allentown and
Yeah.
Bethlehem and Pennsylvania. And then the comics that I met from there are a little bit closer to Philly than New York. So they're like, oh, we're going to the city, but they would be talking about Philly. I'm like, it's adorable
Right.
that you think that's the city. But they're like, no, we're going to go down to an open mic. You should come down. But then you do like 1 and maybe 2 in a night. It's like, I can drive the same distance and do 5 of these. So
Right.
And not
in New
be in
York.
Philly.
yeah. So it's like I don't know, nothing against Philly. It's just from a practical standpoint from where I am. It's like, yeah, I'll go do more shows in New
Yeah.
York. So I'll go down to Philly like if I'm booked on something, but if I have a free night and I'm looking to do mics or whatever, I'd much more likely to go to New York. But then it they all kind of got like corporatized for the most part. Where like it was just so many different clubs had open mics, and now there's just like open mic companies in New York that just produce open mics at different venues around the city. And there's like a few of them, and it's I don't know. It's now being like slightly outside the city. It's like it feels much more impenetrable for me to be like, no, I'll come to New York and do some shows. And they're like, the hell you will, jerky boy.
Yeah. I mean, I have that feeling even being here because it's like after the pandemic, there was a lot to do when I first got here, but
Yeah.
it was still a little divided, where it was like the clubs were, you know, headliners that I had met on the road working in Cleveland. That's who was at like the comic strip and the Cellar and Gotham and etc. And then there was like the Brooklyn Alti show stuff still, and they were a little more divided. And then that started to like cross before the pandemic, and then I feel like after the pandemic stuff, it really melded, and then you had an additional group of people who were like new to comedies. They tried it over Zoom, and
Yeah.
and a bunch of young people coming in and then figuring out that they could start shows in bars and things. And it's like when I, you know, I kind of like let off the gas during quarantine and for like a year. And when I started coming back out, I was just like, what, who are these people? Where did they come from? And I mean, like, the neighborhood I live in is called Ridgewood, Queens. And before the pandemic, there was like one bar show up the street from me. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is like really close to my house. Everything else had to go into Bushwick or Williamsburg or like further and then into the city. Like now, I could go walking distance like 7 days a week to a bar show from my house. They're all like younger people, and I've had to even like come out and like ingratiate myself to be like, hi, can I do a spot on this show? I'm twice your age, but I promise I'm not
It's a
weird.
weird way to start the conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a whole it's if I was coming to it from farther away, it would definitely be frustrating. But because I can, you know, I have younger friends that I can like, I'm like, hey, what show you going to? Can I come with you? You know, just so you're like getting to know people. And it's nice because also like there's that part of it where you're just like, it makes you realize like how long you've been doing it and how old you are, which isn't fun. But it's nice because you're watching a bunch of people who are like not like pissed off. They're not like
they're
salty.
Not jaded.
They're not jaded. They're just like, you know, and a lot of them are really good and really funny. And you're like, okay, this energy is like good to be around.
I wonder. I mean, the jadedness I've heard. I was trying to think of like the comparison of back in the day. It would be like, oh, that person I'm watching get in a sitcom, or that person I'm watching get a late night set or something. Just from what I've witnessed, there's so many opportunities and outlets to pop or kind of do what you want to do, that when other comedians get those late night sets, or if they get a show or something or whatever, I don't feel like there's as much animosity, because like there's not as many people working towards getting that quote unquote sitcom, because most people now, especially comedians, wouldn't even want a sitcom.
No,
that's not even something that they would. Most, I think, are working towards writer jobs for the most part.
Yeah, I try to like I have a friend that I run a show with in Brooklyn, and I roped him into helping me with it purposely because he's younger than me, and I'm like, I need you to like help keep these lineups like, you know, new and make this like a good place for young folks. Yeah. And
finger pulse.
Yeah. And I asked him, I'm like, so what, like, I remember like doing mics and shows when I first got to New York, and like everybody would be like, oh, I'm trying for this like Fallon writing job, or I'm trying to put together 5 minutes to get in front of like any of the late night shows. I'm trying to put on a thing for SNL, or submit to write for this topical show, or what was it with Chris Hardwick?
Oh yeah, After Midnight.
Yeah, well, it was At Midnight at the time. You know, like
At Midnight. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff that was on the networks and cable.
Oh, last week tonight. I mean,
last week tonight. Like I submitted
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I submitted to write for that show before it came out. You know, like, and that was like what we talked about. And a lot of my friends are getting the package. You get, hey, have you heard about this package going around? And I'm like, what do you guys talk about now? Like there's like
Yeah.
they put like 3 people a year on late night. SNL only hires a handful of people. There, you know, like I don't LA, I feel like there's probably more people involved in writing, but here my friend was like, "Oh, it's just social media stuff." It's
Yeah.
like, how many followers do you have? How many views did this last thing get? What did you do? And it's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Like I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm curious to watch because I trying to participate is a little tough. But
I was going to say, how are you because we talked about branding a little bit, how are you as a content creator to stay regular and, out there on social media?
it's one of those things where I feel like I could tell somebody exactly how to do it and it would work. But when I try to tell myself exactly how to do it and apply that, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm like,
I have the same problem where once it starts to feel like a job, I just don't want to do it anymore.
yeah. We're like, I was posting regularly clips from the special and other stuff, and I was getting a lot of good feedback and views were going up. And then I just had some personal stuff going on where I was just like, I got to focus on this other thing and I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not going to post for a week, maybe a week and a half. And then like the next time I jump back in, you see the numbers go down and you're
Yeah.
like, this is a terrible way to live.
But
Like,
that's an addiction, like, because even that isn't there isn't because you do this, you will see this. That is just that is just their way of getting you addicted and making you judge yourself, thinking, oh, you took some time off, so now you've lost all your momentum and you
yeah,
could have skyrocketed. Like that, I think that's just that it's built in there to get you addicted, that you probably would have seen the same numbers or the same drop off. I don't know.
yeah.
I hate content creating.
No, it's weird. And I've been involved in this sort of thing for a very long time. Like when like web series were a bigger thing, I was hired by HBO Labs to do a web series that I called The Opener, and it was about like a stand-up comic it was basically crashing before crashing. And
Ooh, do you have opinions on that? We would
no,
love to
I
hear
don't. I think it was.
that.
It's just that idea that a lot of
Yeah.
young comics have.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that, but
Yeah.
it's in that vein. Um, and it was like somebody paid me like okay money to make like 12 episodes of something, and we made it and then put it out on a schedule and treat it like a TV show. And it was like, oh, it worked. And the company did other web series, and we all worked on each other's things, and we put them out in a similar way you'd put a TV show out, and it built an audience and all that stuff, and it worked. And it's like, but it doesn't go that way anymore.
Yeah.
It
No.
doesn't work like that. And it's so weird to be like, to have watched the platforms understand that the users were getting too much out of the platform, and they had no control or say over it, which means they have no way to monetize it for themselves. So the algorithm became a thing where it's like, well, we want to be able to control who's seeing what, and we want you to play to pay your dues to us to
Hmm.
get more eyes, to play the game our way. And I've kind of watched that happen. And I guess I could have been like smarter and participated in it more, but I'm like, this isn't how I want to make stuff, and I don't know if it'll change, but
I'm,
I don't.
I'm more than happy to be contracted and paid for doing a job that I might
Right.
not be passion filled about. That I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I can have a take on this, and I can fit in the permutations of whatever you want me to do, whether it's filming, whether it's writing, whether it's whatever. But when it comes to myself, I'm like, well, I'm going to put stuff out there if I feel inspired to create something. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go the other way where it's like, well, back to the Ricky Glore factory, and I got to put out 3 things a day or fulfill
Yeah.
this or whatever. Yeah, it's like cleanse it. Like when it becomes like a job and it's not just from inspiration or passion.
I think some people's personalities fit that mode more too.
Hmm.
Like that comes naturally to some people. Like Ian Fidance is a good example of somebody who posts a lot, and it doesn't feel like It feels like he's just compulsively doing it. And there's other people like that, but it's it feels like what's happening now is a natural fit for somebody like him and other people like that, where it's like, this is what you kind of what the way you would have done things anyway. I'm somebody who likes to like think and write and talk and then like go away for a minute. And this is not the environment for that. But
Right.
that's how I do it. So that's how I'm going to keep doing it and hope that whoever catches it and you know.
Because
Go
during
from
lockdown
there.
was when I started using TikTok, but it was also like, well, I have nothing else going on right now. Like
Right,
I'm not
yeah.
doing shows, I'm not traveling, I'm just home and bored. So I was posting, I had, you know, clips of shows that I'd filmed pre-pandemic. So I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I'll put these up, but then I'll make a dumb video about, you know, what I'm doing for lunch or whatever. And I was posting a lot, and then I kind of ran out of stand-up clips that I had recorded, and I wasn't doing shows yet. So it's like, well, what else am I gonna do? And then like they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you can go live now. It's like, I'm not gonna do stand-up live on TikTok for no one. Uh like I'm not a musician. I can't just sit there and like play songs.
Right.
And so I would do that, but it's like I don't know what the point of this is for me is. And with then when I started going out and doing shows again, I would try to post those clips, but they wouldn't do as well. Weirdly, videos from my first album, those clips always would do really well, and then nothing else. Like if I post a clip from the Dry Bar, it doesn't do that well. If I post a clip from the last special, it doesn't do that well. And it's like, so if I just cut up this one video again, you'll show it
Yeah.
to people, but I don't know. That's a decade old now. I don't want to. I have other clips, and it's just exhausting.
And that's the other weird thing is that like if you did that, it would work. And it's like,
Yeah.
what's the reward here? Like,
Well, yeah, well, so like I will get into spurts of things that I want to create, and it's like, oh, this is good content creating because I'm wanting to do it, and it's an exercise either in writing or performing. So I did a series of videos, and I tried this with a handful of different characters called Chet Mansplain, where I had a little theme song, made a whole character, just very repetitious, you know, kind of following a little bit of that TikTok thing or the whatever, like make it repeatable and blah 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 blah. And I did those for a while until I stopped getting enjoyment out of it and it wasn't picking up any steam. So then I moved on. Weirdly, on TikTok, the Chet Mansplain about crop dusting has been getting weird likes and weird reposts. And I don't know where and I don't know how. I don't know why it's getting an audience. But I was like, the other day, I was like, fuck, should I do some more Chet Mansplains? And I was like, no, because I don't want to do this. Like, I don't.
yeah,
like,
you could be trapped in that.
I've seen that happen to a lot of people where comics specifically, but I'm sure it happens with other jobs. It's just I'm less interested in those ones. But a comic will go on and then they'll blow up for something else, right?
Yeah.
Like not their stand-up clip. Something else does really well, and then they end up just being locked into doing that if they want to get views. But then it also like seems to work where now they have a huge TikTok following, so people will go see them at a comedy club because they know them from TikTok, whether they know them from the stand-up or the other stuff. So,
but I don't want to be like Ed Bassmaster or whatever. Like those different.
I don't know what that is.
But I'm not even putting that down. Like I'm not putting any of those people down that go and do those quote unquote characters. But there is the difference between, you know, social media stand-up performer and live performer. A question we ask pretty regularly, especially with guests, Jim, is what is your definition of clean comedy?
Oh, was I supposed to be? I dropped an F-bomb earlier. I'm sorry.
No, we're not supposed to. No, I'm the
phallus.
It's
just a thing that drives me crazy because since the biggest pop I've had as a credit, it was the Dry Bar special that I did. So now people think I work clean all the time, which I don't, but I work clean most of the time. But it's just because, like I said before, it's like, I don't know, I just look like a guy who has to go pick his kids up from school. Like it's weird.
We just have a hard time as it being marketed clean.
Yeah. I just don't like people thinking of me as a clean comic. I don't like telling people I'm a clean comic, but I'm also always happy to work clean. Like if I get asked to, it's not a problem. I just don't want that to be the first thing people think of me.
I feel the same way you do, where I'm like, most of what I talk about is really mundane stuff, but that's just where my brain goes. And I don't have to curse. I can do clean shows, but I would also have a hard time not being able to go outside that when it was allowed, you know? But
I'm
again, like,
doing a private event in Austin next week, and I just did
It's for Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
It is for the
my
mothership.
best friend. But I did like the pre-show call with the people from the company yesterday over like I always ask is like, is there anything specific you don't want me to say? But like I do a lot of these kinds of things. So it's like I have a pretty solid
No, but they did
idea.
give you a list of vitamin and supplements that they want you to be on before you go
squirt
down
that
there.
blue stuff before you do your set. But she's like, oh, just we trust your judgment. That's why we booked you. But like, nothing
That's
over
nice.
the top. She's like, you can swear, but like as long as it's not like filthy. And I was like, perfect. I'm not going to. I'm a 42-year-old man from New Jersey. I might like be like, oh, well, I was at the store and some shit the other day, and like that's about as dirty as it gets.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's perfect. Just like don't bring up Israel. I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't gonna. But
wait, is that over the top and is that filthy?
Well, she asked,
fucking Israelites.
Like, don't do any political material. And it's like, oh, I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
And but she's like, yeah, no, you can swear like a little bit. And she's like, don't, make fun of the people. I'm like, oh, I wasn't gonna. I'm barely even gonna acknowledge there's other people in the room with me. Like,
well, Jim, like your special was clean.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I feel like I hovered around like PG-13. I don't remember if I cursed. I feel like I avoided it because also like, that is also an album, without pictures, and
is that the name of the album?
Yeah.
Is without pictures. Great.
And it's just the bits that don't require the visuals necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some extra stuff. But I didn't, I try to keep that clean because the record label is then able to submit to satellite radio. And if you have clean tracks, you're more likely to get played. So, and
that's
again,
what Glenn and I talk about all the time is like not necessarily wanting to be marketed as clean, but it is great to not have like you can get played a lot more on Sirius.
I produced my albums. I produced one of Ricky's. But then I've also produced a couple other people's, and mine and Ricky's are the only ones that are clean. And as a result, those are the only ones that really get any satellite play.
Yeah.
So moving forward, the business lesson here is like, well, tell people your label's clean. Like just only put out clean. But I don't want to. Like,
but we don't want to do it.
I don't want to run a label at all. The whole thing was an accident. But
I keep on making him produce. He produced my movie soundtrack for Trauma as well, and there's been no benefit to Glenn on any of this. It has all just been friendship.
But like the comedy albums I get money from.
That's true.
Like, but now if somebody's like, oh, do you want to produce my album? It's super filthy. I don't want to produce any album, but that one I'm like, well, it's not going to get played is the thing.
Right.
It might, but the chances, because there's specifically clean comedy channels on Sirius that like, they're happy to just have new content.
Yeah.
But I think it's now, it was more of a novelty, I feel like a couple of years ago, where it's like, oh, a comic who's funny and doesn't swear, how novel. But
that's what you say is after shows when people are just like, oh, I'm so glad you were clean. You're like, well, I'd rather you say I'm glad you were funny.
Yeah.
Like with Jim, like watching your special, it wasn't until after the fact that I was just like, oh, fuck, that was pretty clean. And I think I said, oh, fuck, that was pretty clean. Like, oh, I didn't really like, it wasn't, I'm just like, this is funny. Like, this is an enjoyable theatrical. Does anybody give you shit? So we brought up the idea of, the tech, how strenuous it is with tech and possibly the accessibility to different venues. Have you heard from the community people just be like, ew, there's Jim. He goes up there with his slideshows. Like he can't just go up there and be funny. He has that hat on a hat or that guitar or that piano. Like,
I mean,
or do you just don't fucking care?
They haven't said anything to me, but
Yeah,
I'm sure that some people are like, poo-poo on it or whatever. But it's one of those things too, where it's just like, I mean, I've proven myself to be funny without any of that. So I
Yeah.
personally, I don't care. But also, like, you know, you kind of have a choice to like move forward with the way things are going or not. And obviously people like a visual aspect to anything. Like
Mhm.
people are on their phones while they're watching movies at home. So like to have multiple attention grabbing streams in the room at one time is, to me, makes a lot of sense. And of course, like, I've had younger people come up to me afterwards and be like, as a millennial, I really appreciate the PowerPoint. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. Like, this is not crazy to us to have like, you know, pictures to go along with the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Um,
multimedia kind of bigger. I mean, for me, like, and seeing yours, I was pretty sure Glenn wasn't just like, "Hey, this guy Jim Tews, here's his special, and he's going to be on the show." I was pretty sure clicking on the link that it wasn't going to be arduous to get through. That if Glenn was thinking you were like funny and good, and then knowing that it was the presentation of the PowerPoint and all that and slides, I was just like, "Oh, this is going to be good." And I think there's two ways of looking at it when someone brings, where are you seeing them at? Like, do you know who they are? Even if I didn't know who you were, most of the time, the performers that are using extra things like that have done it for a while and are pretty good. And so there is that comfortability of like, oh, this is great. I'm seeing, but I have a hard time when people are like, well, that's not stand up. Like, that's not the purity
yeah.
of stand up. It's just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're going to see a live show and the main thrust of it is humor and like
Right.
having a good time. Like, why do you care? Like what the sanctity, and it's usually only stand-ups that go up there and lean on a
Yeah.
Yeah.
mic stand that have that opinion.
I mean, I think it's the same thing in art of, people will see a Dali painting and be like, "Oh, I'm going to paint like that," but and try to skip over the part where it's like, "Well, no, like you got to learn how to paint
Theory. Yeah.
really well and realistically first." I don't know that you actually have to. I think you can just, if you like a certain kind of art, just start there and like go
Sure.
from that. And because with stand up, everybody starts emulating the comics that they like. Like
Mhm.
that's how you start, and then eventually you do it long enough that you have your own voice and point of view, or you don't, and you just never get better. But yeah, yeah. I wasn't gonna call you out by name, Ricky, but oh,
Look,
also
I'm
Jim,
working
I
my
don't
shirt.
remember.
I'm working my shift at Target as soon as we get off.
Jim, I don't remember if I mentioned that we tend to go pretty long, so you are free to bail at any point. But um, we're probably going to keep going for a while.
Okay.
We'll
I'm
go.
good for another couple minutes.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there anything that you are burning to discuss comedy wise?
No. I mean, I feel like the the algorithm talk is a conversation that just comes up a lot, and
Yeah.
the burning out part. Um
I'm in burnout right now.
yeah, it's weird because I always think like, oh, this is probably age related too, because but I've seen and heard from younger people who do more social media stuff that's like, yeah, the burnout thing is real. Um, it's also weird to think of when you hear about uh creator social media creators like burning out, where you're like, as someone who has a more of a background in more traditional TV type stuff, you're like, yeah, you're burning out because you're doing a thing that normally takes like 10 to 20 people
Yeah.
to do. And you're it is, yes, on a smaller scale with a phone, what have you, but it's still like, you know, when I was making that web series, I did a lot of it myself and with another friend or two, but we like had a producer. We had like another person editing, like, you know, to even to like schedule and figure out what you're going to post every day. If you're an individual creator, it's like, that's a lot of mental energy that goes beyond just being funny or entertaining.
Well, the mental health aspects of it, of like, if I make a film and, it takes over a year and a half to film, to edit it, to put it together, post production, all of that. If no one, if it's not received super well, and that's not to say that the other hard thing about what we do is getting eyes and ears on the art.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get received well, even not critically, might get fine reviews, but if no one feels like they're seeing it, I can take that personally, but I also am not like, you all, everybody that was part of it's got to share in on this. But on the flip side of that is for mental health, if you are the brand, if you are the product, which I feel like a lot of social media has turned it into, and if you are creating something and wearing all those hats, being a singularity production company from start to finish, when there are 2 likes, maybe 1 share or a view on something that you really felt strongly connected to, and you did all that stress and all that anxiety and you put it out there, and then the world is saying, "No, we're not interested." That's a
Yeah.
different, it's a game I don't
Yeah.
like playing.
And it's like, I feel like there's gonna be a return to some more like communal in-person type things because when I was in Cleveland and we were early on in the like viral video days or whatever. I don't know if you're familiar with the Cleveland tourism video. Have you
Yep.
ever seen this? Okay.
Mm-mm.
You're not
Uh
Detroit.
yeah, it's like a joke.
Is that the whole slogan? Is "We're not
Yeah, we're
No,
not
Detroit"?
it's
Detroit.
the only line I could
It's
think of off the top of
Yeah,
my head.
that's
But
the
yeah.
end of the song. But it's like a song about, that was supposedly like made by the Cleveland Tourism Board, whatever.
Hmm.
But my friend Mike made it. And I used to run like an open mic at this coffee shop, and Mike lived nearby, and we had a projector and we could play video and audio. So a lot of times we did that. And it would get full every week.
Hmm.
And Mike made that song and that video, and before it was ever online, he came and played it at the live show, and it got a pretty good reaction, and then it went out online and it like blew up. But I feel like there was still more satisfaction in like seeing what happened in the room when he
Mhm.
played something like that. And there were plenty of other videos that we had played there that did nothing once they hit the internet. So it's
Hmm.
like, but you still got the satisfaction of playing it in that room, a lot of times with the people who had something to do with it.
Hmm.
They were in it or helped on it. And I think that part of it's gonna
But I can't
start to
tell
come back.
if it's us. I'm not saying that we all have this, we share this opinion, but I think I'm viewing it very similar, like optimistically, like you are, Jim. Is I think there is going to be a shift into what I would call more boutique experiences, but it's in person. So like maybe a boutique video store or something, like the way that you go to a movie, it's more of events. Um, I think that's going to happen with indie film again, because I think we see patterns every 20 years of the film boom. I just don't know presentationally what that will be, or will there be a consistent look like across the board of all platforms, with music, with comedy, with, yeah.
Oh,
I would like to see more things like that, of kind of like how the Stella guys used to go and do a
yeah.
live show and have their screen up and show different
Mhm.
sketches and different
Right.
short
Yeah,
films.
Whitest Kids did the same thing in
I, Kids in the Hall are still doing it.
yeah.
Their old asses are going out there and doing some different size rooms. I I like that live show aspect more, and that is the journey that I am on, and I've tried to rope in Glenn with that as much as I can, of just being like, all right, let's go and do these shows, and maybe we do a two-hander at the top, and it's more like a Smothers Brothers. There's more of a variety show aspect, but then we do our stand-up. We just haven't, well, one, we haven't figured out how to get people there. Also, maybe it's just not good. Two, like, I don't know if both of those, going in from that variety show kind of vibe to then stand up, I don't know if that's the buffet people want to eat either, but that's the kind of stuff I would like to do more of and less of the, bombarding bombarding shows at like a bar
Yeah.
or even a comedy club where people are coming in and are just like, I got free tickets to see someone who was on
Yeah.
a show in the 90s, like was on a
Well, we
sitcom.
talked last week about Nerd Night, where that was
Yes.
my favorite show to host, but it was also the one that was the least comedy. It was, I mean, it's essentially people giving, like, I don't know if you're familiar with it, Jim, but it's essentially people giving like TED Talk style talks about stuff that they're passionate about, but it's much less formal. A lot of them are in bars. And the one that I was hosting at Steel Stacks for a long time, it's like, well, I'll book a comedian or two every month to give a presentation, because then that presentation will be fun. I'll go up and do. I always had to have one ready in case somebody canceled last minute, and mine were always like dumb. It's like, oh, here's why Ewoks are the best thing about Star Wars. Here's I'm trying to think of other dumb topics that I did, and it's like, well, doing the Q&A, I got to make jokes. Like, it was fun for me to do it, but it wasn't just doing stand-up, which is my favorite thing to do. But I felt like it was a more unique experience for the audience to go to Nerd Night than to come see me do stand-up.
It's because of the community aspect of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is like the part that's going to make more of a comeback. Maybe not necessarily people going out to see a specific show, but I mean, look at it with like any podcast that's popular that has a live thing, or even like the Kill Tony
Like this
thing.
one. Yeah.
It's like,
It's a good one.
it's like not always about what's happening on stage or the actual content.
Mm-hmm.
It's has more to do with people feeling like they're part of something bigger, and I think that's missing in like life for a lot of people, especially now. And I think that having a way to do that in person, it's not something people are like necessarily recognizing or saying out loud, but it's like, yeah, this is why you have a good time at this trivia night or this other thing.
I was just going to bring that up because I've been hosting a weekly trivia, and it's the same people coming out week after week. And it is like, oh no, this is the thing that we do on Tuesdays. And
I didn't think of the bad side of you mentioning Kill Tony. I was just like, oh, that's right. They are doing that. So there are goods and there are bads where I want that to be,
shitty
a thing
people
that
can
happens
form
more.
a community too, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the tribalism. Like, I always forget that tribalism can have two different connotations. Like, there can be good tribalism and there can be tribalism that leads towards riots.
It's also because you have to like think of like, there's no alternative to that. It's like if you have people who, I mean, there is alternatives. I shouldn't say that, because you have like the Stella guys going on tour, or I'm trying to think of a better example, but
of people that you have more an affinity for.
Yeah,
that are doing it. Yeah,
but it's like the offering is it's more the community, and Kill Tony right now has filled a pretty big void that was left by other garbage people. But
what can be the positive version of that? And
that's what I'm saying. I don't know that.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is. I bet you like
it's what I wanted to do when
Dropout doing the D&D.
Okay,
would be a perfect.
I think Dropout is a great example.
Yeah.
Because they've really built quite an audience that is just interested in what they are doing specifically. Where like when Dropout launches a new show, people are psyched to see what Dropout is putting out. Less
right,
or sometimes they'll get interested in specific creators from Dropout, but it is all kind of built around this I will say borderline cult brand of comedy creators. And it's also like, well, it's been around. Like it grew out of College Humor, which is was pretty early to internet video. So it's not like the success of Dropout over the last couple of years has kind of really ramped up, but it's not like it's a new thing that just showed up one day. And I mean, same thing with Kill Tony. I mean, before it was so successful, it was just a show that people were going to, and then a podcast people listen to, and then now it is a meteor coming to destroy us all. But it grew over time. It wasn't like, oh, we need to come up with the new thing and it's going to be so popular by next week. Like, no, these things take years to like.
But those are the tough comedians. Those are the comedians that are making you think.
Making me think about how bad they are at comedy.
And you didn't respond. Glenn and I do a thing where we send each other petty bitch ass texts where we're pissed about something. And mine has been anytime that I see a comedian's show poster go out that has Kill Tony as a credit. And I'm just like, I don't know who this person is. I'll send it to Glenn. And I was just like, here's just another one just with that.
Yeah.
Enough shitting about Glenn Tony. Kill Tony.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Before you get out here, Jim, we always like to end on, this will not be the end of the episode, but it'll be the end for you in your life on Daddio.
You're gonna murder Jim?
Yep.
Yeah, am I gonna die?
Is this how I go? Well, I have a picture that I drew to show you how it is, how you're going to be going. It's Hangman. What is something positive that you would like to talk about in the comedy scene that you see going on, or maybe that goes closer hand in hand to what we're talking of, like people are going to come out for this communal experience, but it's not going to be a bad thing.
I would say, when I see a lot of like more collaborative efforts, like via social media, every once in a while, like a sketch will pop up where it's like 3 or 4 people, and this one just happened in my neighborhood. Like they were filming at the bodega that's like I knew right where it was, and it was just like a really funny sketch. And then I looked at who they were, and they were like a group, and they'd been at it for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm seeing more of that. And I was a little worried that would fade with the focus on the individual creator. And I'm like, okay, no, that, because for me, a lot of my favorite parts of comedy and my best experiences are things like, like when I played in the Weezer tribute band, we had a sketch, a sketch series, a web series that was based on this band. And I did that with a group of friends, and we played the music together. We wrote the shows, we shot them, we like did it all so collaboratively, and it was like some of the best experiences that I've had have always been collaborative. So anytime I see more of that, I'm like, okay, this is the way to do it. This is always going to be the way to do it, because that's I don't want to be like in the end, but in the end, that's all you're left with is the experience you had with those people.
Yeah.
And I think like Dropout is a solid example of that. It's like, I bet you some of those people have been working together for 15, 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, I was writing up college humor videos when I was working at Geekosystem in like 2010. So it's like, yeah, they've been working together. Like they've been putting out, it's a lot of the same people. Like Mike Trapp's been there for as long as I can remember college humor existing, and he's still around.
Yeah. So, and that's the stuff that it's, the relationships that kind of last, and, they come and go or whatever, but that, when there's too much like lone wolf attitude in comedy, like it works well in certain aspects, and some people
too many Diana Rosses, not enough Supremes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a perfect
too many Diana Rosses.
Do you have that
That's
needle
a great
pointed
name
somewhere in your home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I liked. I there's definitely like, there's still a healthy amount of that, and that's what I'm always glad to see. Is I'm like, oh, you got like a nice long run, and you're gonna love each other and hate each other and love each other and hate each other. But
yeah, I see that a lot with like improv friends, where they always talk about why they like doing improv. It's like, oh, because like we have people with us, and it's like, oh, that's the part that I don't think I would like, because if I blow a scene and I make everybody look bad, I never forgive myself. Whereas like if I'm just there by myself as a stand-up and a joke doesn't work, whatever, fine, I'll move on to the next joke. I'm not bringing you down with me, or
Yeah.
God forbid the other way, and then I can't forgive you.
Right.
Yeah, Ricky. But it's I do think Dropout is a great example of a positive area of comedy right now. Even, I mean, most of it's not stand up. The new show that they just launched is stand up based, but
Yeah.
they're not like putting out a ton of specials from people or anything. But they could. They like,
I think they will.
yeah. I think it's only a matter of time, because that's the way most channels go, where they will like TLC or whatever will be like, no, we're focusing on like educational content, and then that doesn't get views, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do true crime stuff, and they're like, oh, okay,
Right.
people are losing
Impossible
interest in,
Jokers or
yeah, then it's
whatever. Yeah.
we're gonna be 20 hours a day of Impossible Joker reruns because it's cheap to produce and people are watching.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
that's the good thing about stand-up, is it is cheap to produce and people watch it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we figured it out, guys.
We cracked
so
it.
You
We
definitely don't
solved
need me anymore.
we solved comedy. Everything's good now.
Thank
Jim,
you,
thanks for
Jim.
coming on, bud.
Thanks for
I
having me.
genuinely enjoyed the special, and also
Thank
just working with you over the years. I'm a big fan.
Thanks,
Also,
you too, man.
I can never be more grateful that you got to let me introduce my wife to Danny Tamborelli. It was, probably a real highlight for her. So
Nice.
thank you for your Weezer cover band and making that happen.
Where
No
can people
problem.
find you, and what would you like to pimp?
At Jim Tews on all social medias, and then the special and album that's on my YouTube. So hit up my YouTube.
And pay the $10 for the special. Don't
Yeah,
be
be
like
cool.
Yeah,
Glenn
do
and
it,
I.
cowards. Don't be
Yeah.
like us. We're not
Or,
going to do it, but you
and then
can.
I'll be at Wisecrackers at Scranton. Is it Scranton? The one
It's
in the casino?
Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, we had Nick on a couple months ago.
Oh, nice.
Mainly to guilt him into the fact that I've not been back there in quite some time, but it still hasn't worked.
It's been a while for me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, October 24th and 25th. So
Nice.
I'll be in
Get
Pennsylvania.
those tickets.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Pennsylvania, New Jersey centric podcast, but
I'm in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati here.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
yeah. But I mean, anybody, any of the 400 people that are listening could
perfect. Well, find me
come see the
online
show.
then. And thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
thanks for
thank
coming
you,
on, Jeff.
sir.
See you around.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And now it's
Jim
just us.
Tews,
Fuck
everybody.
that guy.
Now,
God
here's
damn
what
it.
we hate about Jim Tews. Nothing. He's very nice. Yeah, I was gonna bring it up. I think I met him the first time while he was moving from Ohio to New York, because as he mentioned, he's from Allentown, so he like stopped off at his parents' place, I think, for like a bit in between locations, and then did a show in Allentown that I think I was on, or it was Tickle Me Tuesdays, which has nothing to do with my last name. It was just a coincidence. I think it was on the show, or I was just there watching it because friends were. But
I very much enjoyed his special.
It's good. I watched it when it came out, and I've not rewatched it. I meant to. So when you're like pulling specific jokes as examples, it's like,
well, I mean,
must
I
be
made
nice.
I made
don't
notes. I mean, I don't want to have somebody. I mean, again, I only made notes of the things that like I said, the average baby joke. It happens pretty early on,
Yeah.
but it also helped me. Like I mentioned on the podcast, just the callback with the images and him mentioning, well, I'm not going to have an image unless the joke already works. His first 10 minutes, I think, set you up so well to know the kind of performer that he is, and I think he sets up a really good comfortability with the audience, that nothing's really going to take you by surprise of him having like a hot take or anything. And that's kind of how I felt the whole time of watching the special. Like after that 10 minutes, I was just like, oh, he's not really going to present something where I'm just like, whoa, buddy. That was so like off the beaten path. Like he has a very good idea of who he is as a performer. And at least within that hour or that 48 minutes and 2 seconds of, that's why I was curious. He didn't get into what the bits were that he filmed and specifically cut, but I would guess they probably fell in line with the sensibilities of the rest of his material. I don't think it was probably any hot takes on something that, or anything political that would make you go, oh, I can see why you cut that.
Agreed.
I
didn't listen to the audio version. So again, like he mentioned,
oh yeah,
I put some new stuff in there.
Yeah.
So I didn't listen to without pictures. So I don't know what the differences are. But like I said, I mean, I did that with Crime League because it's like, well, if I'm selling a thing that people can just watch for free, I feel like I have to offer them something else in addition to what they are just already getting from the YouTube special.
If I thought people were actually buying it, I would maybe do that. But
I mean, people buy it. I mean, not at Daddio shows for some reason, but it's.
Oh, I'm not talking about yours. I'm talking about anything that like I put together. Again, like the packaging of like a Blu-ray or whatever through crowdfunding. I'm gonna put stuff and work on that because that to me is part of the art of what that is. And I like the idea of having something exclusive on that isn't on future. You know, a little bit of that is the marketing of just like, oh, you better get your hands on it. Like, this is the only way you're going to get this. But with that audience and with that market, I already know that's what they're thinking and that's what they want. Like, as far as like a live special, like that you would watch that's free online versus buying the album on like iTunes or listening to it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just don't think I've reached the celebrity that people are just like, oh, I gotta get that album because
special thing.
It's got 10 minutes of that sweet Glenn Tickle pontifications that I've not heard of.
I don't think that's. I mean, that it's not like, oh, people want more from me. It is just like, if I'm talking to you after a show and you're like, oh, you have CDs, and you buy the CD and it is just straight up the audio from a YouTube video that you can watch, I would feel annoyed.
But I like that you think that there is so much crossover of people that have watched or know, like if they had the knowledge, like, well, that audio is for free on YouTube and I just bought this physical thing.
No, I'm saying they don't know that going into it. It's just
I know.
Like, we're going to be at Hashtag Comedy Club next weekend, September 12th and 13th.
Good job.
And people there probably haven't watched Glenn Tickle Against the World Crime League, but maybe they have a nice time at the show and maybe they buy a CD after.
And maybe they tip me $20. And maybe
they just give me a big old bag of money.
Yeah. But you know, that happened to Billy DeVore when he and I did Off the Hook Comedy Club. I remember your and I's experience was not one to write.
Wasn't a good one, is what you're saying.
When Billy and I did it, it was
the club was very nice.
Yeah, and there was
no one came to it.
That was the largest audience.
Yeah,
out of the Florida trip. But after Billy and I did it and he opened for me, it was a better show and better attended house.
I get it. You like him more. It's fine.
A woman came up to him and I think just gave him $300.
That's a lot. I mean, I've been tipped by drunk people at shows before.
Yeah. And I was like, is there a place I'm going to have to drive you to in an hour or so? Like, because you gotta earn that money. And he's just like, no, she just said, here it is. And he was really nice. He's like, so let's go out and have a nice dinner. And then it's because it's Naples and everything closes at 8:00. Yeah. We had to wait until the next day for like a lunchtime special.
Well, I did a wedding gig over the weekend. They tipped me. But again,
how did that
tipping went great. The only real issue was the venue. Like, it was a giant room covered in glass windows, so the sound was really echoey and bad. So I was talking to some of the people after, and a lot of them were like, hey, I'm sorry, we couldn't understand anything you were saying. It was like, I got there and the DJ's like, hey, it's really echoey, and at this point there's really nothing we can do unless we like try to move everybody outside. I was like, we're not moving everybody outside. We're just doing it this way. It's going to go how it goes. And I talked about, I put a picture of it up on Instagram. I do a bit when I do weddings of, I get them 2 cards and I give it to them at the beginning of the set. And I was like, hey, like, I know I'm here, as the help essentially, but it seemed rude to show up without a gift. So I gave them a CD and a card. I'm like, actually, I got you 2 cards. So this card is just your standard, hey, congratulations on your wedding. Thank you so much for having me. You probably have 50 of these in a box over at the venue. But then this one, it just says, "Hey, sorry I ruined your wedding," and it's just like in case this doesn't go as well as you thought it was going to when you booked me. But it came from like when the first couple times I did weddings, it was like, if this goes bad, like I don't want to ruin a wedding. When I did video work, they're like, "Oh, can you film a wedding?" It's like the stress would be unbearable.
Well, and also the expectations.
Yeah. They're like, "Well, what if I do a bad job and then their wedding video is ruined?" Like, no, I can't.
What if I just like throw in like Glenn Tickle against the World Crime League, like right in the middle of their wedding video? Maybe that's the best way to see the special.
Yeah. Well, one thing I did do out of college when I was getting video work was funeral homes would hire me.
Oh, fuck yes.
And they would be like, "Hey, we got a fresh one. The family just dropped off a shoebox full of pictures. Can you come
stop recording
these?
Now? This is our new show. We need to write this."
The problem is everyone's phone will do this for you automatically now. But in 2005 or 6 or whenever, they're like, "Hey, we want to do like a tribute video to Nana." So the funeral home would call me. I would pick up a box of videos. I would scan 100 pictures and then set them to Kenny Rogers Through the Years and put in like a couple nice crossfades and like, and I would do that a couple times a month. And now it's just like, oh, like if you die, I just have a bunch of pictures of you on my phone and I'm like, "Hey, Siri, set a video of pictures of my dead friend Ricky to Through the Years by Kenny Rogers." Everyone picked Through the Years. There was a list of like 20 approved songs that like the company had the license to use. But that's the one almost everybody picked. There was
no one picked only The Good Die Young.
No. It might have been on the list, but
Staying Alive.
No, that's the opposite.
I Will Survive.
No, again, because they didn't. Pretty famously. I'm trying to remember something. There was the Elvis song.
Ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Yeah, that's the one.
In the Ghetto?
Yeah. Through the Years was by far the most popular one. That's why. And it's not one that I knew. Like, I'm not a big Kenny Rogers head. And it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, I love me some Kenny Rogers in the first edition. I said this to Ali the other day. This is just an offshoot of thought.
When you die, you want a tribute video set to Kenny Rogers Through the Years?
No, Coward of the County.
Make Glenn scan pictures of me.
That you can see numerous pictures and there's video documentation of me filming sketches with my friends through the years, being very young and wearing crepe hair and spirit gum and fake appliances to make myself look like Sean Connery of the mid 90s. Yeah. Now I just look like Sean Connery of the mid 90s. I mean, so as you see, the beard is back.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does it work? Does it work for you?
I trimmed mine ahead of this wedding gig because I wanted to look like a nice young boy. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I thought your funeral story was going to be that they wanted you to come in and take some fresh video or photos of dead. That's what I thought. I was like, we are creating a TV show.
But it's like, it's weird because they're dead, but it's like, this has to be done by 7 a.m. tomorrow. So I would frequently
they had their whole life
in
to
emergency
have a montage put together, and you who were the least connected, could give. I still think that's a TV show. I still think I think there's something there. We could make a web series.
The one I had to call because they just gave me a box of family videos, but I didn't know who died.
Who Nana was, looking younger.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to.
That's our first episode.
Who's in the most of these pictures? But I had to call the funeral home. Like, can you describe the deceased to me?
Is there a list of anybody in these videos, and could you give me pictures of them that you do not want to see because they committed an atrocity to the rest of the family? Yeah,
right. Like, is there a picture of them with Bill Cosby that we don't need to include in the final video?
Uncle Bill,
and it
Lil
was Lil Bill.
Lil Bill.
The cartoon that monster made.
A children's cartoon.
Woof. Yeah, he's like
Through the
through
years.
the
Don't act like you're not just turning into old Kenny Rogers too. You have more of the Kenny Rogers shaped face than I do, because you got more of a baby face down here.
I got cheeks for days, man.
Yeah, but you ain't got that beard. You ain't got that beard game.
I know you're not a big video game guy, but when the Nintendo Wii came out, one of the novel new features was that you could make a little
Avatar,
cartoony version of yourself.
You could bowl.
And I was doing that when my friend Dan was at my house, or I was at his. We were together and making me's, and I went to make mine, and I picked the head shape that's like kind of teardrop shape. And he's like, "Hey, that's not what your head looks like. Fix it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "This isn't." He's like, "Dog, you got like straight and then round."
Yeah.
I forget what cartoon character he said that I look like, but he's like, it
was perfect for me. Like picking my me, which they knew. They were just like, let's see, when did that come out? 2007, 2006,
around there.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh, you are a fat 20-something-year-old, like with glasses, and you're wearing a hoodie. Great. Your avatar will look exactly like you.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we got you.
Yes, I got big old cheeks.
Big old cheeks.
Big old cheeks.
So yeah, wedding. So the rest of that went well. Austin is next week.
I fly out Sunday morning.
Okay.
I had to book a 7 a.m. flight. I wanted to get to Austin the day before the event.
Yeah.
It's at like 6. So it's like, oh, that would be cutting it pretty close to try to fly the day of. But the only flight that I could get where I didn't have to sit in a middle seat was at 7 a.m. So if anyone's in Austin and wants to hang out on Sunday, I'm going to be there all friggin' day. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
A thing that I hate lately is when I talk to people and they find out I'm a comedian. You know how it used to be, oh, tell me a joke. Now it is, have you ever been on Kill Tony? And I hate it because no, and I never will. The photographer at the wedding, very nice guy, was like, "Oh, when am I going to see you on Kill Tony?" Never. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up.
It's the new SNL. It's the new.
No.
Oh, do you want to be on SNL, or like, have you done SNL? Have you submitted to SNL, or is SNL like it's the sitcom? It changes all the time of what it is. It's like, oh, are you on TikTok?
Right, but I don't find SNL morally reprehensible. I don't. Some people love it. Yeah. I mean, it has been.
Hey, your girl Jane Wickline looks like she might have survived.
Oh, really?
The cat slash.
You texted me that she was. I've not been following.
Oh, I just assumed that she was part of the because everybody that they were. I don't even follow the show. I just get all of
the people who left.
Updates.
It's like, I've not seen a single episode you've been in, kid. Sorry. I think I genuinely, and it wasn't. I think the last episode that I watched was Elon Musk.
Okay. I think the last / only one I did was Timothy Chalamet, and it was like right around the 50th anniversary.
And it wasn't like, oh, I can't believe they had him on. I'm never watching this show again. It was just like, now it's yucky to me. It was I've watched that show my entire life, and then now it's like, oh, I should watch. No, I'm just gonna watch another episode of House.
History of yucky people.
I will watch. Oh, for sure. And being on the show and creating the show.
Oh, I haven't listened to it, but I want your hot take after this on another thing that just recently happened. But yes, sorry.
But it's just I'll watch clips. I'm not like actively boycotting it. It is just the impulse or the habit that I had for so many years of just like, oh, it's Sunday morning, I'll watch Saturday Night Live, because I wasn't a stay up and watch it kind of guy. Even as a kid, I'm like, no, I'm going to tape it and watch it on Sunday.
We talked about having kids makes it also harder. That broke us out of that.
Well, before I had kids, I was more of a Sunday morning cat.
No. I'm saying the Sunday morning thing makes sense, but I'm saying having kids, that coincides with when people start kind of like not being as regular with it.
Yeah. Like, if there's a clip, I'll watch it. I'm not like, it's not it's not a hard and fast position. It's like, I will never watch this show. It's just like, I don't know. I kind of lost interest. I haven't really checked in. So when they announced this week that like so many people were leaving the show, it's like, I've genuinely never seen this person before in my life. I have no idea who this is.
You found out you were leaving the show and you're like, I didn't even know I worked there.
Oh God, I didn't even realize that's what I've been doing for so long.
I want to hear your hot take. This is a clip I saw.
Show me that.
One of your boys.
One of my boys.
One of your boys.
You're my boy.
Is one of your sarcastic boys was interviewing someone else. I would venture to say you probably have some thoughts and opinions on.
I don't know what you're talking about. Dog.
Bill Maher interviewing Woody Allen on Club Random.
I had no idea this happened. I have no interest in learning more.
I have weird interest.
I would have nuked that building from space.
I want to hear him dance.
I don't.
Around talking about controversy for however long the episode is. Because there's no fucking way. And Woody sits there and he's just like, so tell me about all this, all these allegations through the years. Like, Bill Maher doesn't do that. And to me, it's just
no, thank you.
Huh. Well, why would you interview? It would be like interviewing George W. Bush and be like, we're not going to talk about 9/11.
We're not. Yeah, we're going to ignore war crimes and such.
Yeah.
Just you want to talk about your little paints?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Or if it's like talking about someone, like talking about Chevy Chase and not being like, oh, one of your notable factors is you're a monster.
Yeah. Do you know how
like,
everyone we're not going to famously hate you all the time forever because you're a piece of garbage?
Maybe Bill Maher is just like, oh, we're so alike, you and I. Me and Woody.
I have no interest in anything either of those two do ever again. Barely interested in finding out when they die, honestly. Like,
oh, yeah? Yeah.
Who cares? Just
yeah.
Eternal sunshine them out of my brain, I don't want to think about either of them ever.
It felt bad because when I sent you that, I'm pretty sure the poster I sent you, because there was a couple of them, and I maybe only sent you one that had the Kill Tony credit of a comedian that I saw.
Yeah. Oh, you were. I was driving when you sent that, and I forgot to reply.
Oh, and unless I'm just like, so what do you think of this? Give me please answer me.
Yeah.
I'm not always looking for a response, so you're fine as far as that goes.
I had one to send you, but I didn't have service in the building when it happened.
Ooh, what is it?
So I did a show. I did a local show, and it was good. It was a good show. I had a good time, but there was a real petty bitch ass moment of like, why am I not headlining this show?
Oh,
I was in the middle. What do you mean I'm third? I mean, I'll do it, but. And it was like, I don't like that. That was my when she announced the lineup. My thought was, why am I going third? But I didn't know the guy going last. And he was very funny. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe he's a bigger deal than I realized. And I know I'm not a big deal.
What else you got slapped in the middle? Like, what other circumstance would you not like to be in the middle? Like, that's a prime spot.
The only other thing was when she asked me to do it. I was like, oh, I can absolutely do it because I know I will be in town. We were doing a big family picture. And I was like, I will be around. Because I blocked it off in the calendar, so I'm not out of town that day. I'm like, I don't.
Because you're a big deal, you finally, the confluences of events, you were in town. You could do their tiny open mic and you could grace them with your presence.
But then they had the
fucking balls. It was a showcase.
It was a booked showcase.
Okay.
That was good. I had a good time.
And you were part of that. Well, it made it good. They put you in the middle because they knew they needed to retain the.
And I want to be clear. I am acknowledging how dumb and petty this is.
Oh yeah, that's why it's petty bitch ass.
But yeah. When she's like, "All right, Glenn, you're third," I was like, weird. So there's only 3 of us on the show.
So I am to assume there is only 3 of us in the show. But I see 10 awkward people standing against that corner wall over there. That must be on the show.
But then also, so it's the woman who put the show together. I've known a little bit for a long time. Like we've not done a ton of stuff.
I've known a little bit for a long time.
Yeah.
Acquaintances.
Yeah. If you asked me 10 years ago if I knew this person's name, the answer would be yes. but we don't like hang out. We don't do a
Yeah.
ton of stuff together. It was my first time doing a show at this venue. I had a great time.
God, and they finally got you. They finally landed that white whale.
Well, she has asked a couple of times, but it's always been days I'm
and she put you in your place in the middle of the show.
She did ask in a way that I couldn't tell.
Are you okay with going middle? Because if you want a big time,
she just told me I was going third. And again, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be third. But again, I didn't know most of the other comics in the lineup, so I'm like, maybe they're from out of town, whatever, you know.
Maybe she's unfamiliar with where you're at currently. That would make sense too.
That's kind of what I think went on, because she asked in a way that I couldn't.
She's been hearing how foul you've been on the Daddio show.
Let me finish the sentence. I couldn't tell the spirit in which she was asking this question, but before the show, she goes, "You're gonna be on third. Can you do 15 minutes?"
Can you?
That's
or
the
can
part.
You do 15 minutes in the middle of the show because I need to reset?
Or
I need you to be like a feature.
I'm telling you, you're doing 15 minutes. I'm wording it as a question. We all know you can do 15 minutes. It's like, or do you not? Do you think the answer might be no?
No, I don't think that's what she was asking.
Maybe I can't do 15 minutes?
I think she's thinking, I know I'm asking you to do more in this spot in the show than maybe like what the first couple comedians are doing.
I wasn't clocking everybody. I don't know if everybody's doing 15 or whatever.
Okay. So you didn't like walk away with a general sense of just like, well, the first guy did 10, second one did 10. I did a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't like running the clock on people. But it was fun. I had a good time at the show. I'm not
it was
saying
a good set.
Yeah, it was. I talked a lot about Mr. T. I am I'm only avoiding saying the venue and the person because I'm being such a whiny baby, not because I'm saying anything bad about either of them. The venue's really nice. I'm gonna go back at some point.
We could also retitle the podcast to Glenn Tickle Burns Bridges. Like that's
Glenn Tickle whines about
torches your town. Yeah,
perceived minor slights. But again, like I don't think she did anything wrong by putting me in the middle. It's just if I'm doing a local show, I kind of at this point assume I'm going last.
I similar to you in I have a distaste for local shows for numerous reasons. You can listen to any podcast.
Oh, because you're better than them? Is that the problem?
Yes.
Ricky?
I
have a hard time doing them because, like I've talked about, I don't want to agree to do your local show where you're, maybe paying me $50, and then I'm gonna cancel on you the second a better gig pops up.
For me, it's the same as if there's any bit of hubbub or anything tumultuous going on at home. I don't want to commit that I'm going to be doing this for this reason, and that either I have to cancel for whatever. I just don't like to cancel. I'd like to be pretty sure that I can do it. But yours. After a show, if someone's just like, "Oh my gosh, it surprised me how clean you were." One of my least favorite things to hear locally, and I understand why it is sometimes said, which is people will come up to me who don't know me necessarily, local comedians or just locals, and they'll just be like, "Oh, you were way better than I was expecting." And I'm just like, same. Yeah. But yeah, it's always a weird one. Like, okay, it's a local show. We're doing 10
you're
minutes.
Actually pretty funny.
Yeah. It's just like, I know. I mean, sometimes
you could have just said
it's
funny.
not great.
You didn't have to say actually funny.
Yeah, like, oh, you were surprisingly funny. Like, oh, it was like, I mean,
you don't need to throw a qualifier
every now and then.
Just say that I'm funny and shut the fuck up.
I do have to get going here soon though. So just because I do have I have a psychiatric appointment with a new psychiatrist for Anna based on her full evaluation. And I will say, for my positive news before I hand it over to Conch, I am starting weekly therapy next Monday.
Fix that brain.
Or the beard's going to get bigger and crazier.
Yeah, do it. I still have to. When I went back for like a new because the last time I got diagnosed with ADHD, it was by a therapist who couldn't prescribe anything. I tell the story on Good Grief. But then it's like, well, she moved away, and then I didn't have a therapist, and it's like, well, I need to get re-diagnosed with ADHD, I guess, and then finally get Adderall.
Well, you would have to get re-diagnosed.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. She moved away. I had no way of contacting this lady to be like, hey, can you like fax somebody that I have it?
Oh, but even in like, yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I would have thought
because
that like
she wasn't a psychiatrist. She couldn't prescribe
Yeah.
anything, so it wasn't like I had that history of like, here, I've been prescribed this in the past. So when I started seeing another psychiatrist to deal with that, and it's like, I don't know, I check in with him like once a month. He asked me questions that it's like, at this point, it's like, I don't know if these are medically, I don't know if this is diagnostically relevant, or if it's just like he's interested in the fact that I'm a comedian, so he like asked me questions about it. But it's like, I don't know, I talk to this guy like once a month about how the medication's working and how my life's going. So like that feels pretty close to therapy, but I should probably find an actual
Let me
one.
pull up. I think I used a website called Rula that you can break it down and find within your area and neighborhood. Let me see. So
there's one that I use that I know sponsors a lot of podcasts, but they don't sponsor this one, so I won't say what one that I used. But
yeah,
it worked.
So fuck them. Yeah, Rula. It's, I don't know if it's Rula.com. If you Google Rula, you go Rula mental health, www.rula.com. If the idea of finding a therapist or it's daunting, you can do Zoom only. You can find a therapist within your area that you could do a mix if you wanted to, in person or non-person. Pretty decent questionnaire if you want to find a therapist that can prescribe, a psychiatrist that can prescribe medication as well as giving you a diagnosis or seeing you. You can also find that through Rula. So yeah, treat your mental health as important as your physical health.
Do it.
So
do it, little
take care of yourself, everybody. Do it, little babies, and maybe you'll send less petty bitch ass texts. Maybe you'll emotionally work through this.
Therapy for me.
Oh, I didn't finish that before. I love the poster because it was an artist that I had worked with before who did this comedian's poster. And I was like, hey, great job. I love the look of this. Man, yes, it is hard making a comedy poster and blah, blah, blah. You can over question it. And then I saw in that top corner a credit listed, which was Kill Tony. And I was just like, oh, so this person's name got pulled, and they could have had a fine set on their Kill Tony. It's just like, I was like, nothing about that credit being on that poster makes me want to go see the show.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have any specific. I mean, the shows have been going well lately. Like I talked about Nerd Night being great last week. The show that I went third on was a lot of fun. The wedding gig this weekend was a great time. Shout out to Hannah.
Do you feel like when you went into that third spot that you had, like, do you think you went into it a little aggressive, like in a good way of just like, oh, I'm going to show them why I should?
No, I wasn't like a little prima donna about it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying using that rise to the.
When she announced the lineup, I was just like, oh, I'm third. That's interesting. And that was it. Like I just did the spot. It wasn't a huge room, so I'm like, there's already no pressure here. The other thing that was weird was the show started at 8, right? Doors were supposed to open at 7. And when she asked me to do it, I was like, okay, I have this family thing, and then I'm not going to be able to leave here until like 7, and you're about half an hour away. So I'll be there probably before the show starts. I'm still thinking I'm going last. So I was like, oh, certainly before I'm supposed to be on. I'll be there. It's not a big deal. Then she texts me that afternoon. She's like, can you be here by 6:30? No, I can't.
No.
I told you. I'll be there as close to.
I told you one thing I can't do.
Yeah. And it was the
or
thing of
you'll
like,
be there as close till 7:30 because if it takes you a half an hour and you're
I was there by
leaving
8,
by 7.
right? Show starts at 8. I'll be there before 8. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was. I was talking
for a showcase too.
Yeah, I was talking to people before. I was like, I don't want to be a dick, but I'm not stressing about whether I'm going to be there on time.
Is this the same comedian that wanted to get time out of? Okay.
Same scene.
Okay, same scene.
It was also in the Lehigh Valley, but no, it was not Rebecca Noel.
I don't even know that we said the name in that other episode.
I think I did. If not, it was her. Because again, like
if now the mystery of it,
I made the point at the time of like, I don't think she was wrong to ask.
No.
But also, the answer is absolutely no.
Yeah. It's the same as like, you can ask if I can be here by 6:30, but it kind of makes me a little agitated because probably the text right above
already
that.
Talked about that.
Yeah.
But just because it was months ago, if anybody's wondering what we're talking about. So I was hosting an open mic. The list filled up. There were no more spots. And then a comedian asked, she's like, oh, if 4 of my friends give me one of their 5 minutes, can we all do 4 minutes? And I said, no, you can't.
No.
And
again, Glenn said he would have respected her more if she had cheated the system and just put her name into the bucket.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But again, like, you're fine to ask that question. I'm not like, oh, how dare she? It's just like, well, no, because then it makes it complicated, and then more people are going to ask me weird favors, and no, I won't do it.
Glenn Tickle, Smug Genie, answer of weird favors. You get one weird favor every per rub of a Glenn Tickle.
Nope.
You get to ask him a question. Hey, I'm looking forward to doing these shows with you in Columbus.
Yes.
I'm going to try to get. We have some. Allie has some family out there, so one of the nights, if not 2 of the nights, should be decently attended. When I get off of this, I have some administrative bullshit to do, but one of which is getting our lodging, and so rest assured, I will get that taken care of.
I did mean to ask. Where is her profile?
Hannah?
Nope.
Oh.
I did a virtual show. After the wedding, I went back to my hotel and did a virtual show with my pal, Danny Aaron's Party Pack, I think it was called, where they came up with some games and then play some Jackbox. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Walter Yosef was on the show. She's a comic in Columbus. So I was going to ask if if it's just you and me, if there's a lineup. I don't know. Not that I don't know a ton of people in Columbus, but I met a comic from there. So I was going to see if we could throw a spot. Add them if they want.
How about we just? Yeah, you offer them a spot. I think regardless of what the lineup is. Well, because Hannah had reached out to me. And I think it was through Instagram. It was just like thinking about having this person open for you all. What do you think? And I can't remember who that was, but I remember my response being like, you should open for us if you want to, like, because we like her. I like her comedy. And I don't think any more of a conversation happened. So I think you would be safe, but if you want to shoot Hannah an email, just being like, hey, we were thinking about having this person on doing a set. One of the nights or both the nights.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't asked Walter. She might not want to do it.
No, you should. Yeah.
She might have found me annoying on the show because I had been driving all day. I drove to Ohio that morning, did a wedding, got back, did this late night Zoom show. I was in a weird mood. I was trying to like derail all the games. It was fun. I had a good time. I don't know if everybody else did. But
you're a pot stirrer.
She was funny on the show. So I'll
next week we have back-to-back guest episodes.
Oh yeah.
We have Matt Wazowski of Nerd Night.
Yeah.
Who I am excited to talk to, and I swear I will not try to force
over the years.
Yeah.
In my capacity as a Nerd Night boss, but we've never actually.
Just from last week, hearing about him to emailing as soon as the episode ended, he is a quick responder, and I love that.
Yeah, so I was also surprised when I reached out after I did Nerd Night Philly, and my friend's like, "Oh, you should like email Matt about setting one up in the Lehigh Valley if you want to do one." And it was like, I'm like, did it that night, and then the next morning he's like, "Yep, here's how it works. You're in." Like. It's not a weird, complicated process. It is just they want to know that the name means something, and like if you go to this event, you're gonna have a rough idea that it is run well. It is, gonna be roughly what you think it's gonna be. Nerd nights are a lot of fun. Find one near you, audience, and go enjoy it.
Nerdnight.com.
Yeah, baby. And hashtag comedy club.
Hashtag comedy club.
I don't know what their website
12th and 13th.
But get your tickets. I think there's probably still tickets for sale, if I have to assume. I think only because the website went live like yesterday. Grab them tickies, and then come watch your boys. A chicken is trying to get into my house right now, I think.
Grab them tickies for Glenn and Ricky.
Tickies for Glenn and Ricky. The wedding had a tattoo artist.
We hit the 2-hour mark perfectly.
Yeah.
We could have been out.
There was a
Please
tattoo
tell
artist,
about the tattoo artist. Yes, you can't drop that and then have
like doing tattoos on people at the wedding.
Idea.
And it was popular. A lot of people were lining up, and they're like, "Do you want to get a tattoo?" I was like, "I don't," but I love that I'm not the weirdest thing happening at a wedding for once.
I love that they're looking for